So today we got Erik Brito from Erik Brito Photography. He's a local photographer, extremely well known for his knowledge and highly respected amongst the 540 photography group, Fredericksburg Street Photography, and numerous other social media and websites in the region, especially Fredericksburg. Erik shoots everything from action sports, birds in flight, and street photography.
Hello everybody, Erik Brito here, local to Fredericksburg, serious hobby photographer, as you can see, and just picked up a new Z9, and actually this is my very first time trying it out, so this is one of the best spots for doing my favorite type of photography with the seagulls, practicing my bird and flight technique, and also trying to figure out what settings work best for the camera here. So besides it being a little too chilly, I'm ready to try this thing out. New machine gun is a new iteration from Nikon, their first official flagship entry into the mirrorless market. They were behind Sony and Canon for the longest time, and seems like they caught right back up and are pretty competitive with Sony and Canon's, flagship mirrorless entries, and I'm happy about that because I've been waiting a long time for that to happen.
So Erik, you got a Z9. It's the hottest thing on the market, and I noticed you got a pretty good setup here. It looks like quite the contraption. Tell me a little bit about this.
Like everything else, the most important part of this setup is the tripod, the foundation to hold everything and make sure it's stable. So got a nice tripod, obviously, and nice gimbal head to go with it. Tripod's a Gitzo. Drawing blanks on the name of it right now. Gimbal is the Benro GH5C. It's carbon fiber, lightweight. Does a pretty good job of holding this setup. Lens is the Sigma Sport 500 f4. It's Sigma's, sport lens. A Z9 with the FTZ adapter. Since those are two different mounts, you need an adapter to adapt the camera to the lens. And that's the setup we have going on here today.
So Erik, you have the new Z9, and I know it's different than the previous Nikons. What is so special about it?
The Z9, it's like I said, Nikon's first mirrorless camera entry, and it's superior autofocus as well as the fast frame rate, up to 120 frames per second in JPEG mode, which is leading the class at this point in time. Is a very good benefit to wildlife photography.
All right, for the viewers out here that don't understand, it's there's no shutter, it's mirrorless. What does that mean?
Mirrorless, essentially, some of them do have shutters. This Nikon is the first production camera, DSLR, that actually doesn't have a shutter. It's an electronic shutter, not a mechanical. So there's no shutter replace, no shutter to wear out, no shutter issues. This thing can shoot 2 million pictures without any issue, unlike the previous flagship cameras. Their shutter life range from 250,000 to 400,000 actuations before it was time to replace the shutter. It's straight electronic. You don't have to worry about, anything other than just pressing the shutter button and hoping you have enough space on your memory card.
That's nice. Well, listen, Mr. Brito spent a lot of money on this rig, but let's see if it can keep up with Daddy's little street photography camera, right? So you want to take me on? You want to do some street photography with this beast down here and see what we can do?
I'd say we got it. Yep.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so what does a rig like this cost if somebody wants to get into bird photography?
This specific rig here is more oriented towards professionals and serious hobby wildlife photographers. This setup here, brand new, would range probably in the $12,000 to $12,500 range for the camera and the lens. Of course, that's overkill for most people and most applications. You can get started in birding photography for not much more than $1,000 with used gear.
There's the train, my friend. Can you take a picture of that train? Let's see what it looks like with that lens. What'd you shoot before this? Why the change to a Z9 at this price?
I had a D850, which is the go-to camera for Nikon. For most applications, not only wildlife, but also landscape. It's a good all-around camera, but the Z9 just came out, and its superior autofocus as well as the frame rate is what sets it apart from anything else. I started off on Nikon. I'm invested in Nikon, so I'm just moving on up the chain.
All right, Eric, and just telling me what this thing can do. How about that bird right there? Why don't you give me an up close and personal of this bird right here?
This bird, I'm gonna shoot him at this frame rate that's afforded with this new camera. It's 120 frames a second in JPEG mode. So let's see what this thing's got.
Let's hear it. So Eric, for those people that like to shoot wildlife, birds, and anything in quick movement, what are your recommendations? You've been doing it for a while.
Finding out which settings work best. Autofocus is important. There's different autofocus modes, and your frame rate. Generally, wildlife, you want it as fast as a frame rate you can get, and if you got your settings right, then you have a much better chance of nailing the pictures and getting more keepers.
Great. Now, what would you recommend as far as downtown, this area? What Facebook group do you belong to that people would be able to give really good advice?
I'm part of a local photography group here in Fredericksburg, or the Fredericksburg area is 540 Photographers. Just a group of people that enjoy photography and those that maybe even just starting to learn, that are trying to acquire more knowledge on the matter.
Great, great. Well, they say anybody with a camera considers themselves a photographer. In this realm, I don't think that is true. I think in genre of bird photography, you better have the right gear for the right job, or else you're not going to be happy.
Yeah, it's like everything else. There's different classifications. Technically, anyone that can pick up a phone and snap a picture, by definition, they're a photographer. So, yeah, different classifications. I would
recording
say.
this on an iPhone. For the record, I'm using an iPhone here, so. Eric, thanks for your time. We appreciate it, and you'll have to get back and let us know what you like about this camera best in a while.
Certainly, thank you.